Hello everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of News Plus from Plus Agency. Sorry, it has been a little bit of a pause in between the episodes, but now finally we're fully back on track. And with no further ado, let's get this week's News Plus started. First of all, it's about Double Bay, eastern suburb again. Double Bay Art Deco treasure sells at auction for $600,000 over the price guide. In this market, a lot of people are complaining, but true great stuff are still selling at very good prices. 2/3/21 William Street, Double Bay, sold for $3 million at midweek auction. Art Deco treasure that hosted a range of famous Double Bay artists and personnel has sold at auction for $600,000 above the price guide. World-renowned Jane Rota, film producer Margaret Fink, and the late neurologist Oliver Sack was all regular guests of a two-bedroom apartment at the Piers at 3/21 William Street, and source at the midweek auction advised stunning property fetched a whopping $3 million. The sales agent, Harold from Sotheby's, couldn't disclose the result of the purchaser, though it's understood she has 6 registered, with 5 of them participating in the auction. This is a bid starting from $2.3 million and rose in mostly $50,000 increment, all the way to when auctioneer has slammed down the gavel. The apartment, which had 2 bathrooms, was the home of late award-winning designer Don Fish and his wife Vicky. This is a downsize, and then for the purchaser, it looks like in Double Bay, even if you don't have a view, if you have a good stuff with good history and good quality, people are still really buy into it. Next one, where will a Hollywood superstar Ryan Gosling stay in Sydney? Sydney has been a regular place for famous people, especially movie stars when they do their movies in Australia. Given most of us are found in Ryan Gosling's visit to Australia, it's probably only natural. We might like to know where the Hollywood superstar is staying. Gosling touched down in Sydney this week with wife Eva in preparation to shoot the movie The Fall Guy with Emily Blunt. It will be shot in Sydney and rural New South Wales, with Gosling called Australia his home for the rest of the year. The movie is based on a highly popular 1980s TV series of the same name, as being made with $45 million taxpayer money by federal and New South Wales government grant. So, Mr. Gosling, if we're picking up the tab, let us suggest where you might like to stay. Vaucluse Bay, Vaucluse. New South Wales leading agent, according to the list of New South Wales top 50 real estate agents 2022, Alexander Phillips last month declared Coolum Road, Vaucluse, the best street in Australia after buying a $23 million worth of property for himself in the Harbour City. Coolum Street sits west alongside Vaucluse Bay, with our houses on the eastern side of the street all enjoy direct harbour access. That's where Julia Roberts has stayed, and then if Gosling wants a reference, he could look out to the fellow A-star Julia Roberts, who laid down $20,000 a week to live in the glamorous waterfront mansion, rated one of the Sydney's best homes on the street when she was in the country shooting A Ticket to Paradise with George Clooney last year. So if the Canadian Gosling wants to enjoy the Sydney sunset from balcony of his eastern suburb pile, he could opt to stay at the other side of Vaucluse Bay. Leonardo DiCaprio did when he paid around $15,000 a week in 2011 to stay on Fitzwilliam Road while shooting The Great Gatsby. Balmoral Beach is also another very good choices. Rita Ora found Mosman right up her alley when she was in Sydney in April last year, healing Mardi Gras and starting a judge on The Voice. UK pop star living the dream by dropping $30,000 a week on a $30 million harbourfront mansion in Sydney's Lower North Shore. And then nonetheless, there's also another really famous home was sold early this year, I think, and then it was where Justin Bieber had stayed before on Coronation Avenue, and this is absolutely a dream home for a lot of people. So there's quite a bit of an option for him, and we don't know where he's gonna stay. And nonetheless, the last place must be Point Pepper. Australia's richest suburb, Point Pepper, is good enough for Mr. Harbour City mentioned himself. Former PM Malcolm Turnbull, and it was good enough for Bill Gates, so it was very least it's worth considering for Gosling. During his 2011 visit to Sydney, Gates stayed at the 10 home of Sydney car dealership Neville Crunchton. I hope I got the name right. The point paper pad sold for $61 million in 2017, then the third highest sales in Australian ever. It was also featured predominantly on the recent list of New South Wales best 50 homes. So hopefully we can see Ryan Gosling finds a place that he likes in Sydney among with other elite stars like Russell Crowe, Christian Bale, or Sacha Baron Cohen. Alright, next one. Bazaar home conference of Australia's biggest footy star AFL Lane Franklin and the NRL Latrell Mitchell. Our biggest footy star out without their homes conference away from the field. Lance Franklin and Latrell Mitchell are two of the Aussies' biggest names and center of our footy wars at the moment, as both vie for the AFL and the NRL glory, a holy grail, a premiership. Despite their superstar status away from footy, they lack their creature comfort, some a bit unusual, some boring, and some in between. Since moving from Melbourne to Sydney and take up his massive 9-year, $10 million deal with the Swans in 2014, Franklin and wife Jacinta have opted to call the executive eastern suburbs home. After all its kind of places you can get a great home for $10 million, it's not a short drive from the Swan home ground and training base at the SCG. The couple's first purchase in September 2014 for only about $2.35 million in a highly sought after area, almost equivalent between the ocean and the harbour, was a somewhat curious purchase as something of a door upper as the somewhat outdated jet spa tower in the backyard attests to. However, by the time the Franklin sold in November 2020 for $3.8 million, the spa was long gone, replaced by a much more contemporary stylish pool and a wooden deck. So they did do a lot of renovations on that. The Franklins are often spotted out and about in the eastern suburbs, and by all accounts are very capable pair, but apparently to upset their well-heeling neighbors when they dare to paint their home a striking shade of charcoal. What were they thinking? Buddy Franklin and Jacinta gave Rose Bay home a controversial facelift, and the headline screams. The semi-original cream color with white trimming, but now dark gray with color of pavement of roof. Interior designer and stylist Julie Lovett said it was a bold move, but wasn't entirely well executed. I do see where they're going to, but it's made look more modern. Painting is just one color was not a great idea. From a design perspective, it needs just a little bit more color on the details to create contrast. So even though this place was done in a very different way, it's still, after selling up to almost 2 years ago, Franklin quietly moved nearby to a $5 million penthouses, where the unusual brickwork of the building and the heritage timber floor were among the biggest attraction according to the market, collateral at the superior century, not to mention the coming and going of yachts and seaplanes. South Sydney superstar Latrell Mitchell set himself up for the future in August when he bought a new 4.3 record-breaking home in South Sydney. The home has a new suburb record, and Mitchell posted a sale on his Instagram with an image of his wife and his 2 children in front of the sold sign with the caption "Making moves." So people are buying, people are moving, and it looks like the Sydney prices are not stopping, and a lot of the A-list people are still up there trying to grab what they want to call home. ABC presenter Annabel Crabb pays for a suburb record $4.2 million for Hurston Park home. Hurston Park, not quite Parramatta, but a long-time ABC political commentator Anna Crabb and her ABC lawyer partner Jeremy Stoner has moved slightly west after they bought off market at Hurston Park. This westernly destination, 4 kilometers closer to ABC's new headquarters, saw them pay a record $4.2 million. It came after the 2-story Edwin Terrace Vivitry in Markville fetched $2.8 million at its recent one bid auction. There has been a $2.5 million guide on their boat, and they have traded in 2008 for $1.125 million. The couple singled their plan to move from the 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home on a 260 square meter in the inner west Music City to a slightly larger home with their 3 children. The new purchase was a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom 1910 Federation home with a pool on 835 square meter in the Canterbury, Bankstown, municipality close to Cooks River Parkland. So Woolhurston Park, $4.3 million. That's a big money for it. All right, next one. Nick Lyons and wife Emma sells a Logini Rossley designed Bellevue Hill mansion for rumored $26 million. This place is at number 6, Roopswood Avenue. Bellevue Hill has sold for rumored around $26 million. Construction boss Nick Leos and wife Emma has sold the designer Bellevue Hill mansion for $2 million less than the prices guide, but still $10 million more than what they bought for 4 years ago. The couple who are returning to hometown Melbourne apparently because they were unhappy with the quality of education in New South Wales. So the Roopswood Avenue home, while Stephen Chen of the agency in conjunction with Macropelia of Sotheby's. Buyer's agent Simon Cohen represent the buyer understood to be expat returning to Sydney. This is a beautiful home. It was just very well designed. The agent can't reveal the sale price due to confidentiality agreements, but other sources said it was around $26 million. The home was beautiful. They bought it for $16.5 million on Christmas Eve 2018 from fashion designer Camilla Freeman Topper and husband David Topper. It was those previous owners who done the rustling revamp and the Mylands Goldman design landscaping. The guide for the property, which was 5-bedroom and 5-bathroom and a Bellevue Hill hotel-inspired swimming pool, was about $28 million, even when it was originally exclusively listed with Sotheby's. So this is definitely a good home to have, and it's got a lot of wow factors, and congratulations to the seller and buyer. All right, next one, Sydney auctions. Sellers get $430,000 extra under the hammer as buyer competition rises. 2 to 3 bidders at the auction were largely the norm over winter, but interest in property sales has been ticking up over spring, with multiple auctions attracting over 20 bidders. Among them was the auction for an original condition brick house in West Pymble, which drew a crowd of 100 people, including 24 registered bidders. That's a lot of people. The $1.93 million price for the Wallong Crescent home built in 1950 was $430,000 over the reserve. It was reported to have left the family for a long-time owner who was aged over 100. The house was the most popular auction on the property portal realestate.com.au in Grey Stains. Last week attracted 23 bidders. The $1.291 million prices for the Gardena Preet home was $910,000 was $91,000 over the reserve. A smaller house in Castle Hill attracted 18 bidders. So this is definitely a market that's attracting a lot of people coming over to have a look what's going on at their home, and it seems like these places are absolutely selling at the moment. And we see the auction market has cooled down a little bit, but there are nearly 700 auctions held last week, the heaviest volume of sales so far this spring. All right, last one, Sydney real estate. Is this the Harbour City's most luxury unit? To even call the home offering at its new development, its unit seems to almost a crime. They were so well appointed, from the water features that studded the floors to the encased glass garage, which presented the resident's car, no vehicle, as a piece of art that should be appreciated, to the pool, each title boosted, which is more like a Roman bath. Caesar Augustus would be happy to call his own. But here, the designer of Villila leant on ancient Greeks and the golden ratio to shape the proportions of the building, the elegant curved forms, and placement of feature within the sweeping rooms. In short, the golden ratio promises no guarantee. The most artistic, pleasant creation and design possible. Look at the stunning views, and also, when your car is a work of two, and the golden ratio in its full effect. Sydney's most expensive home, the $140 million One Sydney Harbour penthouse, is a gas-unit apartment condo, but for its price tag in Vanilla might offer more luxury per square meter than Sydney's ever seen before. It's more wow than oh my god, with a price guide ranging from $50 million to $20 million, expected to be completed April to May next year. Vanilla by developer Skyland Group in partnership with architect Henderson Co. And Bristwood Murray will comprise 2 penthouse apartments and 2 garden apartments. These units are absolutely stunning. The penthouse will have its indoor pool as well. Each of the 4-bedroom apartment and designated entertainment area with hand feature, as well as a living area and a double lockup garage. When we were designing this development, we really put a lot of thought into the local residents. Skyline Group managing partner Trevor said, we really wanted to exceed their expectations from every angle. The penthouse features direct access from a glass wall garage with frames the resident's car like a work of art, and a glass bottom pond, which allows light to pass between 2 levels. Other features include natural stone floor with underfloor heating, integrated sub-zero refrigerators, wolf oven, and home automation. The property are being offered through Highland Double Bay and have price guide between $50 million to $20 million. All right, so this is definitely something that's really, really luxury. And if you're interested in any of things like this, you're welcome to also contact Plus Agency for exclusive preview of some of the best properties on the market. This is Peter Lee. I'll see you next week. Bye.